GM everyone. I'm Peter from Near Week, your source for what's next on Near, and welcome to the Near Town Hall July edition. The world is in a moment of deep transition. The internet is changing. First it was pages, then apps, now it's agents. AI agents won't just write essays or generate images. They'll act, trade, make decisions on our behalf on their own. And to make that work, we need more than just smarter models. We need infrastructure. We need railroads. We need something to make open source AI monetizable, owned by its users, and help millions, eventually trillions of agents coordinate. That is Near Protocol. So when we say Near is for AI, we mean it, and we're building it. Let's get into the town hall. First up, as always, Near's co-founder and the guy who's helped put the T in GPT, Ilya Pulusukin. Welcome, Ilya. Stage is yours.
Hi, thank you, Peter. Hey, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing near summer. It's been quite an eventful few past weeks. Let's go to the next slide. So there's obviously been a number of events that have happened from New York to Cannes to Paris, where we've been present. We had Open Source AI Summit at Permissionless, as well as lots of activations with different groups, institutionals, founders, developers. There was hackathons, and then the kind of presence in Cannes. Again, everything from debate of rollups versus sharding to introducing the roadmap to user-owned AI. And then in Paris, engaging with kind of actual AI community and explaining to them why crypto is needed. I think the marketing team will dive in more into some of the events and highlights. But I think the high level is we obviously have a lot of people in the industry that realize that confidential computing, confidential AI is extremely important, and long-term making sure that ownership of that AI and ability for it to transact are key elements of the future. We'll go through some of the team updates and progress, ecosystem wins, and I want to kind of continue re-emphasizing that we have the Fork That campaign going, and I want everyone to continue sharing it. So let's go to the next slide. So there's few changes we've had at Near Foundation. So one, I'm really excited to welcome Bowen to join Near Foundation Council. Bowen has been with Near since day one when we kind of pivoted from AI to blockchain. He actually joined and interviewed for Near AI originally, but joined and learned and kind of effectively built and then been leading the protocol team since, and been effectively amazing leader for the space and for Near ecosystem overall. And so I want to welcome him to the Near Foundation Council, effectively becoming not just kind of technical leader, but also oversee the growth and direction of where Near Foundation is investing and putting its resources. We also have George Zhang joining Near Foundation as Chief Growth Officer. George previously was kind of founder as well as an operator across crypto and Web2 projects. He's been a product leader at Meta. He's been a COO at UIDX. And so bringing an amazing kind of scope of experience across kind of product growth, leadership, and it's been extremely welcomed by the team as he's ramping up. And so I'm sure you'll hear a lot more from him in coming months. We also want to say thank you to Chris Donovan, who's been transitioning from his full-time NF role to a member of NFC. He's been on NFC for the past year and going to continue serving in that capacity. And want to say amazing kind of work, and thank you for the contributions. And then we have new amazing leaders joining this summer. We've been really focused on bringing exceptional people to the ecosystem and to Near Foundation. And so stay tuned on as they join on board. All right, next slide. Yeah, so we've kind of Near Foundation operates under the OKR model, objective and key result. We have kind of per quarter, and this is a summary for the first half, right? We're kind of through the half of the year. And there's effectively a flywheel that's operating. That's kind of how we're modeling the whole ecosystem, where you bring users and create demand that leverages all the ecosystem applications, wallets, as well as kind of overall infrastructure and social layer, and then build the momentum, bring the products, new products and existing products, grow them, and then kind of use those products to bring more users and make them aware about Near and excited about Near. And so this is kind of a flywheel. Obviously, there's founders coming in and contributing to this. There's people, token holders. It's kind of all of those roles are kind of embedded into this flywheel. Now, I wouldn't say that we've, out executed every single goal, but we are trying to put a very ambitious goals as well. So, for example, you can see on the product side, we actually consider that we missed our ambitious goals, even though Intent's done exceptionally well and been doubling every month since the beginning of the year, including in June. But we have put a very kind of, for Q2, we had a very ambitious goal and we have missed it. So that's kind of the model we're using. So this is just for public accountability, as we are kind of continuously striving to do better across the board, but also put very ambitious goals to drive us forward. Next slide. So I'm sure you saw, but we just had a Bitwise Near Staking ETP launched on Frankfurt Stock Exchange. It's been a pretty amazing kind of event for the Near Foundation team, Bitwise really coming together and bringing what effectively is a kind of blockchain native asset and product, right, to all the traditional markets that are operating through these exchanges. And so it's exciting because, as we're rolling out Near kind of as this future AI currency, as this kind of instrument that AI and people will use to own kind of in the future, this is effectively opens up more doors for this. It creates kind of bridges into more traditional finance. So really, really exciting. I want to thank the team. I want to thank Bitwise. There's a lot of work to get this going, and I'm sure this is not the last instrument like this, and we're going to continue to see more and more of this integration happening. Next slide. I mentioned Near Intents. We had a very ambitious goal, but even that, they've been growing extremely well. Over 102 assets supported. A number of new chains were added. There's even more chains in a pipeline right now. There's actually some that are already in interface that you may find. The number of swaps is kind of approaching 1 million, which again, really exciting, but also we need a lot more. And the volume, as I said, been doubling every month. So like this past 30 days, volume effectively was as much volume as we had before that. So to 10 million. And so exciting to see also all-time high was 25 million per day. So I think we have a number of interfaces that integrated SourceSwap, KyberSwap, obviously Infinex, a number of others. Is also just from ecosystem. I think the Surge swap just launched, Near and integrated, obviously Hot and others. So it's kind of exciting to see this protocol really becoming this robust liquidity layer that we envision it be. And there's a lot of work in progress to continue generalizing it and adding ability to have natural language intents and also just generic escrow style where solvers can take time to actually fulfill it, creating even better liquidity utilization. Next slide. I also just want to highlight Hot Team has launched an NFT marketplace and trading facility that is chain abstracted and kind of intent based. And so this is really a great example of ability to leverage now the intents as kind of this fundamental building block to connect with wallets across all chains, to connect with liquidity from all chains, and then really build applications that don't have boundaries. And so I'm excited to see. I mean, there's kind of some upcoming announcement there, but even the current that already came out, right, is about public AI minting their data babies NFT. And so I think kind of the fundamental to me is, if you want to build applications now in Web3, not just on Near, be that you want to target Solana users, or you want to target Base users, or Telegram users, or Hyperliquid users. Actually, Near is the place to do that because you can actually open up your kind of addressable market by allowing all those users to come in, use their assets, use their wallets, and interact with application, and not even think about the kind of bridging and changing wallets and all of this kind of logistics that historically been needed. Next slide. Finally, there's a lot of things happening on AI side. I will not go into kind of all of them, but just to highlight, Proximity released the Shade Agent Sandbox. It's effectively a very simple way how to go from a JavaScript implementation to a fully rolled out Shade agents, right, where your brain of agent runs inside just execution environment in a verifiable way, and then your muscle, right, is a smart contract running on chain, executing actions, being able to transact, being able to do things on chain. Public AI secured 10 million in funding to build a human layer, effectively data labeling, crowdsourcing, leveraging human intelligence to train AI and improve the models. And so obviously they're partnering with Hot, as I mentioned, but also exciting to see them grow and continue expanding and offering this to more and more companies, especially as we see the AI market, right, kind of has a consolidation with Scale AI. Silverstream, which is browser use company that works very closely with enterprises, have achieved a breakthrough kind of accuracy on enterprise automation benchmarks. So this is really about, automating boring parts of jobs of enterprises and really allowing AI to take over the computer and do some of those things while all of this is accessible to everyone in an easy way. Finally, Bitte launched the integration with Intents, which is really cool. Now, again, anybody can trade anything just by typing, hey, I want, Dodge to AVAX or BTC to Sol, and it uses Intents to actually integrate, kind of solve that. But also the Bitte itself got integrated into Rhea and Vex, DEXs, creating an AI system that really can guide you not just through trading, but also help with a lot of different operations on those applications. I think that's a really important kind of milestone because that kind of shows the future of changing experience, how we're going to kind of merge the user interface and kind of this AI experiences together into a single unified kind of super app experience. Next slide. So just kind of to conclude some of the learnings, I think Near Intents have made a very clear proof point for Near. I think there's a lot of just like ability to partner with different ecosystems and bring their folks together on this journey while removing some of this like animosity that Web3 ecosystems and tokens usually have. I think to me there's been a very kind of big both lesson and also relief in a way, because I always felt kind of strange when we needed to fight with different ecosystems instead of really kind of bring them all together. I think we clearly see that market wants more AI proof points. The AI space is moving so fast. There's so many things happening, and we need to continue showing what user-owned AI can do and why that is important. There's been a constant feedback around developer documentation, making sure developers are staying, able to find. There's a lot of things happening on Near, obviously chain signatures, intents, AI stuff, the blockchain itself, JavaScript, Python. There's a Go to go smart contract. So making sure, so Dev Hub just released new documentation, but that's definitely one of the big areas of feedback. And then continue to recruit top talent. I think across the board, across the ecosystem, we need to continue bringing the best founders and the best talent across teams. Near intents definitely need more liquidity, and there's been a few stability issues over the past few months. So improving that is a big area. Supporting DeFi projects, I think we have a lot of really cool, really promising projects, but it's been pretty slow to come to market. I'm really excited to see Templar. I'm really excited to see Land and others. And so we need to continue supporting them kind of with this journey to mainnet, right? I mean, Templar is in beta already. Finally, we need more adoption on the AI project side, right? And clear GTM. I think there's a lot of really cool experiments. There's a lot of cool ideas, and we need to really bring them to market. So big area for improvement. So the QC priorities are pretty simple: grow near intents, volume, more users, more integrations, drive capital formation for projects in the ecosystem. Really, everything from fundraisers from VCs to token launches, making sure there's like a continuous way to capital form. Leverage intents now, where the token launches can be omnipresent and anyone from anywhere can participate. And finally, adoption of near ecosystem AI projects, really bringing them to market and working with them on clear GTM. Next slide. Cool. For those who haven't seen, we have an inflation reduction proposal from the ecosystem. Hot and Linear protocol have collaborated on this. If you haven't participated or voted, or this is a really great time and opportunity. If you are against, please communicate as well. And I think it's a really great that we have the community kind of coming together. We have obviously in collaboration with protocol team working on all of this and kind of coordinating this approaches. There's also, I just saw today, there's a house of stake test, kind of the first MVP of the front end. So also excited to see some of the governance work there, which I think will continue using that methodology going forward. Next slide. Finally, just keep reinforcing the message that we're this fork in the road. I mean, we just had Grok 4 coming out. It's beating all of the benchmarks. It's clearly advancing toward being more intelligent, at least in smaller tasks and like specific types of tasks than kind of a single person can be. And so I think it's becoming more and more important and relevant that we actually make sure that these types of models are neutral, community and user owned versus potentially biased in all kinds of ways. So really important to spread this message to get more people and more talent to join the movement, because that's how we're actually gonna make this successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ilya. And everyone, I encourage you as well to go vote on the inflation proposal, as well as spreading the word about the Fork That campaign. Share your Fork That moments. Next up, we got our very own Jordan Gray from Public AI, a near OG. And he's here to tell us a little bit about what he's been up to lately with Public AI. Jordan, it's all yours.
Thanks for having us on. Yeah, great to be here. Appreciate the shout out from Ilya earlier regarding our fundraising round that we closed out. So going to take this opportunity to take everybody through Public AI as a whole in case you're not familiar with what we're up to, and then also show some of the current activities that people can participate in since we're live with those. So public AI at large came out of this problem that AI is hungry for data. Data being valuable isn't something new. It's been valuable in terms of marketing and everything else. Data brokerages are a healthy industry to this day. But AI specifically brings up another huge use case for data. And if you look at what's really holding AI back, things like compute, memory, physical resources, those are, of course, bottlenecks that hyperscalers are the only ones that can take advantage of to be able to do foundational model training. But as more and more innovation happens, those compute resources and so on become more and more commoditized. And the thing that is still really hard to get is valuable data, and especially niche on-demand data. After you've gotten a foundational model or something built, fine-tuning it to specific business use cases requires a lot of like new data that's not available on the internet. Everybody's already scraped the internet. Synthetic data only gets you so far and then leads to model collapse in the final training. And to really take things to the next level, we need fresh on-demand data. That's why things like X are valuable, and Reddit, etc. So what we've done is take a Web3 approach to how to gather that data rather than a centralized approach. And what that looks like is a maybe complex looking chart. So we can go over this layer by layer. At the very top, we have our clients that come to us looking for this niche data to do model training and so on. And then below that, we have our kind of like product level or platform level, where we have the data hub, which is a DApp where people can come and do the data sourcing, the uploading, verification of that data, and then also participate in rating models after the data has been applied. So human in the loop feedback for how the training is going. And then we have Data Hunter, which is our Chrome extension, which can be used for other kinds of data fetching, and then also offloading the compute that's required for the mechanical aspect of the data verification that happens. And then below that is where blockchain comes in. So when you're talking about gathering high quality data from a diverse group of contributors, you also get diverse quality. So we need ways of identifying not only that high quality data, but high quality contributors. And what that looks like is an on-chain reputation system that tracks how people have behaved in the system, their voting patterns, et cetera, making sure that they are making meaningful contributions. We've got a consensus voting mechanism in place, and that's the data verification element. And it operates a lot like a DAO as far as how that data gets validated, or even similar to how a blockchain validates its blocks. After a certain number of people all say, yes, this is valid, good data, then it goes off to the data set for delivery to client. And to ensure authentic contributions from people and that they have some skin in the game, we have a staking collateral system. And it's a really exciting application of a Web3 primitive that, rather than focusing on just passive yield bearing, we're using staking as a way for the contributors to commit to quality, meaningful contributions. And then after they do that, then they get their stake back, they get their rewards. And if they misbehave, then they get slashed. So it's a way of getting like that real commitment out of people. And then we have a skill tree KYC for being able to identify experts in different domains, so that if a client comes to us in need of, say, dog experts, cat experts, luxury good handbag experts, things like that, we're able to run quick quizzes that for an expert in a field or say a hobbyist, they could very easily answer these questions. But if you're not in the field, then it's a little bit harder. So we've got that all set up. And the community is active across all those touch points. So that's kind of like how we're getting this done. A little bit about traction and how things are going. We've got client revenue, and that's a big differentiator with a lot of the other companies that are active in this Web3 AI data space. We have sold data sets to large enterprises, and the community side growth is going great We now have over 1.6 million data workers in our community. Literally every continent and every country in the world is participating in this, which is essential for the kind of diversity that's required when you're seeking niche on-demand data. And a little bit about the team behind this. Myself, some folks who have been around the Near ecosystem may recognize my face. Built a bunch of early DAO and NFT infrastructure on Near. Before that, I was at Google doing technical project management on material design. And prior to that, spent over 10 years in the advertising industry running a digital innovation lab under the Omnicom umbrella, helping Fortune 500 companies do more interesting activations than just running banner ads. And my more technical co-founders, Dr. Stephen Wang and Professor Sui, are actually the origin story of public AI. So they were running a AI research lab and ran into the problem of, hey, the data that we're in need of is way too expensive. And also when it comes back to us, it's not of the quality that we need to do our research work. So they decided to take a stab at a decentralized approach to getting that data. And after having some success, Stephen moved to the Bay Area to find myself and Kenji to join and help turn this into a thriving, healthy company. And Kenji has a deep history in more of the operational side of things. He started Caro, which is the #1 largest used marketplace for cars in Southeast Asia. And on the business side has a deep history on mergers and acquisitions, and he's our operational co-founder. So that's a little bit about the team, what inspired us to build this human layer of AI, and why we're diving so deep into data today. So that's a little bit of background. Now I want to get to some, what does this look like? Can I participate today? The answer is yes. So we've got campaigns running all the time. And right now we're in a break between the season 2 and season 3 of our audio recording for native language. So what we're doing is having people show up, record short sentences in their native tongue. And what this is being used for is real-time translation devices. If you remember the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that sits in your ear, something like that. And this is a great earning opportunity for the community. They can earn up to $1 a day by uploading 140 samples, which takes under 30 minutes. And total, we're doing rewards over $500,000 for this. So great thing to get started in now, even though we're about halfway through the seasons. Better to get started now. And this also brings up the point that as we're rewarding folks, we're doing a mixture of USDT and our points. So as people come and participate in the system, it's not just airdrop farming. They're actually getting like real rewards if they show up today. When you pop onto Public AI at beta.publicai.io, which is our data hub site, you'll have to set your mother tongue. And this is something that can only be set once to make sure that people aren't hopping in between languages to do recordings. So make sure that you select the right one when you pop in there. And then as part of that verification process that I mentioned earlier, we have these quizzes running where after you select your native language, there will be a short quiz that ensures that you're actually a native. So super obvious questions if you are. And then after you've taken the quiz, you can go to uploads and get started. The #1 thing that our clients are looking for is that the uploads aren't generative AI and that people aren't using text to speech, because those are things that they could do on their own, no problem. So we do have a mechanical filter in place that looks for those things, but still have people obviously trying to farm it whenever there's incentives. You got farmers showing up. So we're running our own AI models for doing that kind of detection, and your uploads will be rejected if you do any Gen AI or TTS uploads. And then as you're uploading towards that 140 samples a day, we've got the gamified progress bar that shows you how you're doing and shows you what the next reward level is so that you have motivation to keep on recording. And then after that, the voting process takes place. And as I mentioned, this is stake-based voting. So to participate in the staking, to prevent people from just jumping in and doing random clicks, we've got a stake mechanism in place. And you get paid out after you reach consensus with your peers, whether that's a vote in the yes, this is good data direction, or no, this is bad data direction. And then after you've completed a few campaigns with us and understand how public AI works and want to take a more active role in the community, we do have an upgrade tier system where you can become a guard in the community. And there's also a judge system after that for people who are resolving disputes. So if this is something that you're excited about, definitely dig in. Give the current campaign a try. After you've seen how it all works, go ahead and apply for a guard role and take a more active role in the community. And then we also have a referral system live where our theory is that we've got 7 degrees to any expert. So this is for everybody in the world. As the human layer of AI, we believe in capturing the value around where people fit into the AI work revolution. And right now that the highest demand is in the data space, and that relies on experts. So no matter who you are, where you're living, go ahead and get signed up and then bring on your friends so that the community is full of experts in all different domains. One more campaign that we're running right now is the Hero Yappers. So you can go after taking a short quiz to learn about how public AI works. You can do a tweet about it, upload your tweet, and the more followers you have, the higher points you'll earn. And this is live right now, so go ahead and check it out. It's our alternative to something like Kaido Yaps. And as Ilya had up on the screen earlier, we are really excited to partner with Hot on the first chain abstracted intent-based marketplace launch and collection launch on the hotcraft.art platform. So Data Babies is minting on July 15th. It's a free mint. And this is in celebration of hitting that milestone of over 1.5 million contributors. Even since then, we have added another 100,000 folks. So we've got 1.6 now. And as part of that, we wanted to be sure that this collection was for the community. So it's also under the viral public license, which is similar to the Creative Commons, that allows everybody to remix it, play with it, have fun, and be part of the community. So that's it from me. Definitely give us a follow on X to keep up to date with all the latest campaigns and news. Join our Telegram community, and you can also pop into Discord and chat with all of our friends there. So thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you so much for coming, Jordan. Keep up the good work and keep on pushing public AI. Super excited to keep following all the progress you guys have going on. Next up, we got Owen from Proximity. Owen, my friend.
Oh, I'm on mute here. Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Take it away, my friend, and let us know what you've been up to lately.
Thank you. Great updates from Public AI and Ilya there. So yeah, Ilya briefly mentioned this before, but we've been working on the Shade Agent sandbox recently. And what this is, it's basically a collection of tools that allow you to get up and running with a Shade Agent as quickly as possible and with minimum required knowledge needed. So just a bit of a refresher on what Shade Agents are, if you've not heard of them. Before, like Shade Agents, Web3 agents fell in sort of one of two categories. The first was that they were trustless and verifiable by using trusted execution environments. But if this TE went down, then the private keys and funds the agent would be lost, which is obviously not good. And then the other camp was the agent's accounts were actually persistent, so they would remain if wherever the agent's running goes down. But to achieve this, the agents would have to be centralized. So Shade Agent Framework allows developers to create crypto agents that are both trustless and verifiable by running in a TE, and the private keys can't actually be lost or compromised. So accounts are persistent. And what does this sort of allow? What can shade agents actually do? So first off, they're AI powered, so they can verifiably access LLMs, also running in TEs. They're multi-chain, so they can custody almost like any crypto asset and sign transactions on any chain using chain signatures. And like I said, they're non-custodial, so not one entity controls the private keys of the agent. And this is using the MPC signing cross-chain signatures we all know. And yeah, like I've said before, they're verifiable. So sort of like blockchain, the agent code is known and executes as you expect it would, and no one can actually. Oh, I just realized I'm not presenting my slides. That was a big mistake from me. Let me share my screen here. Here, we're back. We're back. Can you see that now? Could you put it up, please, Peter? There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, these are the slides. You didn't miss much. Yeah, so the agent code is known and it executes as you expect, and no one can actually tamper with that secure enclave running in the T. And they're confidential, like optionally, so you can pass inputs and the state of the agent can be kept private, which allows some interesting use cases. As we know, blockchains aren't on private by default. They're very flexible, so you can interact with off-chain data and APIs beyond what you could do within a blockchain. Like with a blockchain, you can't just call an API, but with this verifiable environment, you can. And they're low cost, so you can run intensive computation, like run an LLM, run some really complex data analysis inside this T without it costing you a load and without running into gas limits. So how do these work? We have these agents that sit in the T. They have their own private key, which is randomly generated based upon the T's like hardware entropy. So it's different each time it boots up. And these can access like LLMs and access APIs and data externally. And once an agent boots up, what it does is registers in this agent contract. And this is a contract that actually lives on the Near blockchain. And when it's registering, what it'll do is it'll submit a code hash and an attestation. The code hash basically says, hey, I'm running this code that you expect, here it is. And then it can match against the first code hash it was provided with to say, are these two the same? Yes, they are. It's running the correct code. That's all good. Then we also have the attestation, which says, are you running in a TE? Yes, I am running. If you're running in a TE and you're running the correct code, then I'm going to let you be a registered worker, an actual agent that's registered in the contract. And once it's registered, this agent can now access this sign transaction function, which connects it to any blockchain. And the accounts associated with the agent are associated with the agent contract itself, not the individual agents. And what power that gives it is that you can boot up another agent, like the same agent, that will have a completely different random private key. And as long as it's running in a T with the attestation and it's running the correct code provided by the code hash, then it once again can verify and access these same accounts. So this system has an aspect of liveness where if the agent goes down, if the T goes down, you just boot up another one, or you have loads running at the same time, so you can always access the service. So to get on to the actual sandbox that we've been working on, what is it? Like I say, it's a suite of tools that really helps you get up and running with shade agents as quickly as possible. And you really don't need that much knowledge on agents or even programming at all, or specifically on NEAR. We're really making it developer friendly from whatever background. And I challenge you, even if you're not a dev, to try and make something with this framework. And what it's made up of is a CLI, a command line tool that just deploys the agent for you, takes away the complexities. We have a Docker API image that allows you to interact with the agent contract without having to know like NEAR specific commands. We're using global contracts. So this agent contract is just deployed behind the scenes without you even knowing it, and a library to interact with all of this. So this means you can deploy an agent in just a single command, and you don't need to know about T's, you don't need to know about NEAR, you just build your product and we abstract that all for you. And what we're trying to drive with this sandbox is to make it as like language agnostic as possible. So you can create an agent in whatever language you want from whatever background. So I'm going to attempt a bit of a quick live demo here just to show you what the sandbox actually looks like. So I think you can still see my screen. Yeah. So when you clone like the template repo, you'll be presented with this, which has your source file. And this source file is what's going to get uploaded to the agent. And in here we have root. So the agent is basically just a standard server that's going to run inside this T. So we have a couple of roots here. This is an API route that will get the agent's account and its balance. We have one that will get like an Ethereum account and its balance derived from the agent contract. Because in this template, it's basically an oracle, like a chain link oracle, but the verifiability comes from the T instead of multiple nodes running the code. So we have an Ethereum address that pushes the price. And then the magic happens in this transaction route. And what this route does, it fetches the price of ETH from just some like Binance, Coinbase APIs. It creates a payload, and then it uses this function. I'm not sure if you can see, but sign with agent. And this pushes the transaction payload to be signed by the agent. And we get a signature from that, which then can be broadcast to the target network, in this case, Ethereum. And all you really need to do is edit these files to create your shade agent. And we also have a .m file where you just fill out some details. So you'll need a NEAR account. You can change this prefix to your NEAR account, which your contract will be deployed to. You change this from like proxy to sandbox, whether you're creating like locally, you're developing locally, or you actually want to put it on mainnet. Then we have an API code hash. You don't need to touch that. Your app code hash, this is the code hash that's getting submitted to the agent contract. And this is automatically filled out for you when you deploy. And then your Docker tag, which is just your Docker account details to host and build this image. And then a Fowler key, and we're using Fowler to host the T's. So to deploy your agent, once you're ready and you've built it, you can just run this command. It's shade agent CLI, and this is going to build this image pretty quickly. It's going to push the image to Docker. So this is your all your code bundled into a single file, basically. And it's going to deploy your agent contract on testnet. You can switch it to mainnet if you want. You can see it's approving the code hashes in the agent here, and then pushing it to Fowler Cloud. So we get a link down here, which we can open and see our deployment is actually booting up. It will take just a minute here to register up, But then we have this endpoint, and this is where our server is being hosted. And you can actually go ahead and interact with that inside your front end, or you can interact with it from like the browser. So if I do /API/agent, I think it's agent account, still needs to boot up a little bit more. Once this is booted up, should be good. Yeah, it'll give us the details of your agent account, and then you can also do like transaction, which will then obviously send that transaction to update the price of ETH. And we just have like a little front end here as well that you can go in to make it easier to interact with. So I'll just quickly host that front end. So once you host the front end, this is what you'll see. I might have put the URL in wrong there. I think without a slash. Yeah, so it'll show you like the current price of ETH and your balances, and then you can click to set the price of ETH there. And that is the Shade Agent Sandbox. So I was actually showing you the most recent version here, and that will be deployed. It'll go live, I think, like end of this week or next week. And what we're really focusing on in this version is modularity and flexibility. So you can do more with the Agent Sandbox, and then also getting it deployed a bit quicker. And that's everything from me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, Owen. And I highly encourage everyone or anyone to go and play around with the Shade Agent Sandbox. It's a truly amazing framework, and I think we're only starting to scratch the surface of what's going to be built using this technology. Next up, we have Interwallet, and Slime is a beast. He's always building. He's always near, and he's here to talk a little bit about what kind of wallet he's been working on. So everyone, give it up for Slime. There he is.
GM. I'm doing great.
Great.
I'll share the screen real quick. Yep. Do you see this? Actually,
yes, it's all there.
I'll put it like this. So Interwallet is made by Inter. Let me do a quick introduction. My name is Slime, and I'm here to talk about the release of Interwallet, which was released this week. And yeah, it's a non-custodial wallet. It's open source, and it's for Near blockchain. Inter is an infrastructure provider that has built oracles, developer APIs, indexing APIs, a lot of stuff for notifications in a Telegram bot, a trading bot, volume bot tool. I don't even remember all the stuff we built, but this time we're going to be talking about Interwallet. And I'm not here to say that Interwallet is ready, feature complete, or on par with other wallets. I'm gonna tell you about why you should switch from your existing wallet to Interwallet. And the first reason is DEX aggregator. DEX aggregator picks the best price among all DEXs, and not only DEXs, but also launchpads, liquid staking providers, and other ways to swap tokens. I don't know why I made this as a random spin wheel. It's not random, trust me. No, it's not. It's actually not random. So yeah, and more features that I really want to talk about is sub-accounts. I'm gonna show it here real quick. So I create a new account And let's say I want to create a for town hall. Instead of .near, I can select slamdragon.near and just create an account. And yeah, also cute intern Betty backgrounds are included. So yeah, it's already here. I made a typo, but doesn't matter. So yeah, by the way, you can choose the backgrounds here. So yeah, next point is key rotation. It's also a feature of Near that not many wallets recommend people to use, but on Inter wallet it's quite easy to use. You just click terminate all sessions. Wait, let me get some Near for this account. It doesn't have to be 0.2 Near, like most wallets require, because we understand that not all people have this kind of money, even though it's not really much, but not everyone has that much in crypto in Near. So it works just fine with 0.01 Near. You can even swap tokens with like 0.02 Near, and yeah. So I click terminate all other sessions. It will show me a new phrase, which will be reapplied to my account. So for now, this phrase is starting with toilet, which is my favorite word from the dictionary. And I click here. The new phrase will have mask. I just confirm. And it will just replace my seed phrase without changing account name, without changing anything, just a new seed phrase. By the way, if anyone wants to claim this account using this seed phrase, you're welcome. So yeah, we also have an Explore tab, which is frequently updated, which contains a lot of dApps on the Near ecosystem, like really a lot, including like Hotcraft and Search Swap, which launched really recently. Has learning with a lot of articles, and yeah. Also, it's really developer friendly. You can create when you create a new testnet wallet, for example, let's do this .testnet. It will prefund this account with 2.5 testnet Near. So you don't have to find the wallet, find the faucet, which not always works. You just have 2.5 Near. By the way, don't mind this number. It's just on testnet. That's how much Near costs in USDC on testnet. It also has some features for developers that make UX improvements. Like when you unnecessarily split one transaction into two, it will display a warning that UX might be improved for your dApp. And it's compatible with Near CLI. So yeah, just a lot of stuff. Of course, you can stake with a validator. You can stake with liquid staking. You can see the APIs. You can stake with Metapool, and it routes through Metapool. So it's like built into the swap feature. There are a lot of integrated ways to swap tokens. So you can choose, you can disable some, but by default, you just get the best rate. In the future, we want to add a smart wallet, which is a feature that was recently deployed on mainnet here. It's already here for testnet accounts. So if you click on settings account, you can enable smart wallet and connect your Ethereum or Solana wallet. I will not do this right now because I don't have a Solana wallet in this browser. But you can do this, and then if you log in with an existing account, you can click Ethereum and sign a message, and it will recover your testnet account that you have linked to this account. In the future, we'll have passkeys, Google, Apple accounts, and some DeFi stuff, recurring payments, and yeah. By the way, it's free to deploy. On some blockchains, these accounts cost like $10, $20, $5, but here it's just free because of Near's global contracts, which is a really amazing feature. Not sure if anyone uses it yet, but Interwallet is, I'd say, the first production, if you can call testnet a production app that used it. If you use it on mobile phone, you can click Add to Home screen, which will make it much faster and just feel much smoother to do this. It's called a PWA. It really speeds up everything if it's supported by the app, and in Interwallet it is supported. And in the future, maybe this month, we will have a native Android app, and maybe sometime in the future, an iOS app and desktop apps. So yeah, that's it. You can create your wallet now, and if you are interested, you can follow us on socials. We will have detailed thread about the wallet and its features today on X, and we'll have like a week of different threads about all the features. So make sure to follow us and create a new account using this QR code. Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming, Slime. I encourage anyone and everyone actually to go and test out the Inter wallet. This guy knows what he's doing. Keep it up, Slime, and keep pushing. Really great to see. All right, next up we got Manuel from Silverstream, and Silverstream AI aims to provide the core infrastructure for reliable, user-aligned, autonomous agents, focusing on accessibility, privacy, and enterprise-grade automation. Manuel, I'm just going to bring you on stage.
Yay.
How are you doing, sir?
Good, good. Am I sharing my screen? Are you seeing yourself?
1 second. I'll just remove mine and I'll add yours to the stage. Now you are. Take it away, sir.
Nice. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, like as Nir was saying, we do web agents. Web agents are agents that interact with the web. They click and type like people do. And we really focus on the reliability part, on making sure they do what they need to do every time. I was really happy to see efforts like Public to try to get more people into the system, into AI labeling and data collection, because that's something we need to work on. So it's great to get people in the ecosystem working on what's important. So let me talk about Silverstream. Basically, one of our agents start interacting with a query. So a user asks something to the agent, they request a new MacBook Pro. And in the case of the Near app, then the user talks to the app goes to the backend goes to our agent. And inside our agent, which is in this trusted execution environment encrypted box, we have the agent itself doing the orchestration on everything that needs to be done, and the agent as a browser with whom that they can be used to interact with the web. So it will look at a web page, it will interact with it, clicking buttons and typing whatever needs to be typed to get the MacBook Pro. And when it's done, it goes back to the user and say, thank you. This is the laptop was sent, and so on, right? So it's a closed loop of user interaction, agent interaction, and internet interaction. We send back screenshots and conversation, but it's mostly between the agent and the internet. And so this is a useful way for when you build your own agent to interface with the open web. Not everything has an API. Not every API can do everything on the platform. With web agents, we can now open up all these closed silos of data, of goods and services. Let me show you how our agent sees the web. So this is a simple homepage. On the left, you see the image of the page itself. On the right, you see how the agent sees the page. So we'll mark all the interactable elements. We look at the DOM to see what's clickable, what's typable, and so on. And we give it a little number. Then we look at the HTML code, and we turn that HTML into this markdown representation of 735. It's a button, it's called toggle menu, and if you want to click it, these are the coordinates. We add as much information as we can to the context of the agent, and that's where we spend most of our work. We also look at extra stuff like network request. This is useful for the agent to understand what it has done in the previous interaction, console logs, and whatever we can think of. So our agents understand a web page very well, and then they take actions on it. So in this example, you see the user is asking about flights from Montreal to New York. The agent goes on the internet, goes on Google Flights with the browser. So the first action will be page.go to Google Flights or flights.google.com, and then sees the HTML, the X3, which is the description I told you before, and the screenshot with whatever is clickable. And then the agent sends code to the page. So it can either click on the page by coordinates or by those numbers we defined before, or can write his own playwright code. And this action observation loop continues until the task is done. Now, before going to that, let me share. So this is the agent as he works on a simple task. Can you see the video?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So this is our interface, just for sake of explainability, but then it's also on the near app. Here, for example, my colleague, let me go back. My colleague asked, can you go on the developer instance of ServiceNow, log an incident, report it to payroll, and whatever needs to be done. So Silvestro, our agent, takes it on, thinks about it a little bit, and you can see what's happening on the back. It's going on the ServiceNow page. There is a thinking process to communicate with the user, so we keep some read-only update for the user to be updated about what's going on. But in the back, it's clicking and typing around up until it fills the incident report. Yes, there we go. ServiceNow does not offer an API, but now we can interact with it through an agent programmatically. And these agents can be chained. On the near app, you can call other agents like ours to do these tasks that are outside of what a usual API system can do. An example people asked us is for getting APIs to get pricing of coins on systems you cannot integrate yet. So it's that we deal with that long tail of systems that you cannot integrate today. Maybe you will be able to integrate in the future. So I'm very happy to have conversations with people and developers in the ecosystem to have your system integrated with agents. Our agent is meant to be open source. We didn't open source it yet because it's not as reliable and stable as we want, but it's going to be. So I'm very happy to share, source with people we work with, because that's where we are going towards. Now, the last point, we are short on time. We just had a breakthrough performance. This has been really the effect of working with people in the ecosystem. People have asked for many things, and every time there is an issue with the agent, there is an improvement in the capabilities, right? So over the last year, we went from 63% top 5 performance to 94% top 5 performance. 63 was the best alternative before us, and now we really jumped almost to the end. Like at 94, the last 5% is way less meaningful than this first jump. And these are tasks like the one you can see on the right. It's a third-party benchmark by ServiceNow themselves. So create a filter, these are common tasks people do on their platform. They create a benchmark for it for people to work on. If you want to see more of these tasks, this is the link. It's pretty easy to copy, so you can just look it up. In general, the NIR community has been very helpful with feedback and collaborations. We work with some people in the community already, and we are eager, especially I'm eager to help people in this community, because you guys think of things in the right way. Openness, interoperability, privacy and encryption, those are the things of the future of the web. And so I want to be as close as possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, Manuel. And I encourage anyone who wants to look into technology, reach out to Manuel. He's here to work with you guys. And incredible to hear how supportive the community has been. It really warms my heart. And next up, we got Cesar from IQAI. Cesar, I'm just going to bring you're on. Take it away, my friend.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. Great work, everyone, in the previous presentations. I am Cesar Rodriguez, the CTO of IQ. In IQ, we have the mission of connect AI and blockchain and allow developers to tokenize their agents. For that, we have created an ecosystem governed by IQ. On the screen right now, I think you can see our landing page for the ATP, which is the launchpad that we have for tokenized agents. I will go through it a little bit. Here you can see, or perhaps I need to change. I think I have to share another. Hold on. Yeah, here you can see our ATP, like the launchpad that we have for the agents. We have different agents that we have built, like Sophia or Adam. Sophia is an agent that we built using our framework that allows create wikis automatically in iq.wiki, which is another platform that we have. Here you can see, for example, all the logs that happen when the agent does a transaction on chain to create wikis and so on. And all this is built on ADK, which is another part of our ecosystem, which is our framework to build agents. It's a very modular framework that follows the standards and allows stuff like memory control, multi-LLMs, multi-agents, telemetry, everything that you need to go live with agents. That's coming from the last 2 years that we've been building all these different agents. And that's the reason why we ended up building our own framework, because we were facing some issues over these years and we ended up with the framework. We also, as part of this framework, we have built a lot of MCPs, which is something that I want to demo today. The MCPs allow to connect our framework with the blockchain. We are building MCPs that are specialized on blockchains. The one that I want to demo today is using the near intents. We thought that it was going to be very beneficial to build MCP for intents. So because MCPs are like the standard for the AI to connect outside. So yeah, we create this one. And I think, let me share a little bit of this. So here I think you can see how it works. This is using our framework and the MCP intents. In this case, we are going to swap 1 year to USDT. Here we have, in this case, we asked the agent ask for permission In other cases, this is a proof of concept. In other cases, we just automatically do everything. But here you can see how you have the NEAR, and now instantly you get the USDT. The cool thing about this, as I mentioned before, is that it's using the standard MCP. So even if you don't want to use our framework, you could use any other framework, or you could even connect it to Claude or probably any other framework to build agents. This is one of the two MCPs that we have for NEAR. We have another one that is specialized on connecting to the blockchain itself, which perhaps we can demo in the next town hall. We have in our roadmap, we have a bunch of cool stuff to work with NEAR that I think we want to release or showcase in the next town hall, even one connected with robotics, which is something that we are building in our R&D department. But I would like to show it, I think, next month. I guess that's all. Something I will recommend for anyone who wants to get involved, go to adk.iqai.com or iqai.com and read more about us. We are also planning to run some hackathons in the upcoming weeks. That's something that if there are some developers there that are interested in building using our framework or using the MCP for NEAR or improve the MCP for NEAR intents, they are very welcome. So yeah, I guess that's all from us. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for coming, Cesar. Have a great night. All right, next up we have Stephanie from the NEAR events team here to tell us everything that's been going on, and especially all the dope stuff they've been doing lately. Stephanie, let me know when to switch the slides.
Awesome, thanks, Peter. Go to the first slide, please. Awesome. So GM everyone. Ilya alluded to this a little bit earlier on the call, but I'm going to walk you through all of our in real life activations, from permissionless to ETC, and pretty much how that all funneled into like one cohesive narrative, which was part of our Fork That campaign. And as you recall, Fork That wasn't just a campaign; it was more of a rallying cry to make sure that builders and rebels and everyone who kind of looked at the default settings that society offers and says, hey, that's not right. We need to build something new, a new paradigm. Next slide. So I'm going to go over for permissionless, the goals, the engagement and traction, our speaker highlights, how the stunt boxes were received, some survey results, and then some feedback from the community and folks that attended our events. Next slide, please. There we go. So the goals, we wanted 3 or more branded touch points that really hit home for people, that when we were in these in real life activations, people understood that it was all a part of the Fork That campaign. And you'll see that from our branding to the swag we gave out, but also to the folks we decided to partner with. So as I mentioned, 2 key takeaways: Fork That, and NEAR is the blockchain for AI. Next slide. Next slide, please. So we had a slew of events taking place in New York City during permissionless. We kicked things off with the NEAR A100X Investor Dinner. Big shout outs to Artem on the Capitals team that helped us put that together. Then the next day we went over to the TIE and the NEAR Institutional Breakfast. Big shout outs to Mark on that one. We ended the day with a Biddle and Fork That founder dinner, which was pretty well attended. You'll see some pictures in a few seconds. And then we also had some case studies. So shout out to Jared Thompson on the foundation team that helped set that out. I'm going to be also sharing some content from that, and he'll shortly be sharing videos in the next week or so. And then on the 25th, we had a Fork That happy hour that took place right where permissionless was being held in Industry City. And then, as Ilya mentioned earlier, we had the Open Source AI Summit, which we co-hosted with Erica. And then finally, last but not least, we had the NEAR Eco Dinner, which was a nice place to see folks from the ecosystem in New York City and those that were in town visiting for permissionless. Next slide. As I mentioned, the institutional breakfast went pretty well. Ilya gave a brief little talk talking about Near, what Near AI is up to. It was pretty well received from what I understand from from our partner, the Thai. It was held in the city at Little Maven on the 24th, as I mentioned. And we were being very selective. We weren't really blasting this event out because we didn't want to be inundated with a lot of people registering and then kind of bothering us as to, hey, why am I not accepted, et cetera, et cetera. So we were being very intentional with our comms on this and not really blasting it out. 100 people registered, 70 approved, and 40 checked in. Pretty good odds, I'd say. Next slide. As I mentioned earlier, we also had a Biddle and Fork That founder dinner later that evening at Rule of Thirds. If anyone has ever been to that restaurant in Williamsburg, it's really, really cute. It's also bomb food. Everyone enjoyed it. Erica and Ilya were the hosts, which was awesome. It was also a nice place since the Fork That campaign was revealed on the 23rd, it was also a nice place to give away some of our stunt boxes. So you guys may recognize some faces in that photo, like Alton, Dean, and a few others who were really happy with the gift. Dean actually arrived first, and I have a funny photo that he sent me where he wanted to take all the treasures. As he said, he would have walked away with them, but then people slowly started piling in. But Dean's always a great person and a friend of the ecosystem. Just for some stat purposes, 20 folks were invited and 14 showed up. So that's a great success rate. Both Ilya and Erica sent out those invites. So thank you so much for supporting our events. Next slide. Then we had a Fork That happy hour. So as I mentioned, this was right next to where Permissionless was being held in Industry City. We partnered up actually with ACJR as well as Crack Labs. ACJR, for those not familiar, is the Association for Crypto Research and Journalists. So they brought media to the room, which was awesome. Got to connect with a few folks there, made good connections. And then Crack Labs was actually the partner for the hackathon taking place at Permissionless. So they were able to funnel that and push that to the dev community. So it was a nice turnout. As I mentioned, attendee stats, 260 applied, 116 approved, 45 checked in. Again, pretty good show rate, all things considering. Next slide, please. Open Source AI Summit. So as I mentioned earlier, we were a co-host, which means we helped with some of the curation of the agenda, but mostly added support in marketing purposes. So we actually made the stage banner that you see back there, which is why it's big shout outs to Charlie on that, which is why we have a big, nice splash of presented by Near. Some of the notable speakers, Ilya, Shriram, Eric, Seed, Casey, a slew of many more, but I couldn't add them all on this slide, trying to be respectful of your time. But overall, pretty good success. The Blockworks team was quite happy with the caliber of speakers that we were able to court, and hopefully we could get this opportunity again next time around. Next slide. The Near Eco Dinner was at the beautiful Laser Wolf. Again, this is one of those places in Williamsburg that if you haven't been, take the time to go next time you're in New York, or if you live in New York, make a reservation. It's wonderful view, delicious food. It was a great way to spend time with folks in the ecosystem, connect. I got to see Benji, which I haven't seen in a while, and he gave some alpha that he will be back living in this side of the world very soon. So very excited for Benji if he's on this call. I'm not sure, but it was a great time. Big shout outs to Maggie for organizing that. Thank you so much. Next slide. Content. As I mentioned, Jared was able to do some founder videos. So he did a really great job. He'll be releasing more of the full videos soon. If he hasn't already, I might have missed that update. I was in ECC, so my Slack messages were a bit messy, but he did a great job, shared some of the moments he captured during the sessions. And he said it was probably one of the best capturing of founders so far, especially as the Fork That campaign came out. People were really able to share their message, share what their company their project does, and then tie it back into the Fork That moment. So really nice timing on our end. Next slide. Next slide. Speaker highlights. As I mentioned, we had a lot of in real life activations. We also had speaking opportunities, and Ilya was really everywhere all at once. He spoke at the Akash Accelerate event, and then he also spoke on a panel at the Permissionless conference. Next slide. There we go. And then he had 2 speaking opportunities at the Open Source AI Summit. He gave a keynote solo, and then he also was in a, I guess, fireside debate of sorts with Michael Casey and Sriram from Eigenlayer. So really, he was doing a lot the whole week. But so shout outs to Ilya for taking the Near team home. Next slide. Stunt boxes. So as I mentioned, we gave them out during the dinner. It was really well received. People loved the messaging, loved the box, loved the creativity behind it. The fork that button was actually really cool. Here we have Tommy from Delphi giving us a shout out for the creativity, for the messaging, and also for those that aren't aware, we actually gave away some Near via Intent. So people got to experience the technology and how frictionless Near Intent is all in one go. And we intentionally designed the box in this manner, so it was light, easy, and just that button, and with the goal and the hope that people would tweet about it, and that's exactly what happened. So that was a really awesome moment. Next slide. Next slide. Survey results. So we wish we could have gotten more recorded responses. I did try my best on site and to follow up post event. Permissionless is an event we don't normally go to, and so we don't have as big of a Near eco Telegram group chat community, so it proved a little bit harder, but overall people really liked it. Both anyone who was a partner or media or a hacker or just a regular attendee really seemed to enjoy the food, the ambiance, how close it was, and just the lax nature of it. We also gave away some swag that we had left over from some of our other activations, so folks were really gung-ho about the overall experience. Next slide. Survey results, just kind of what we always ask, like what was good about the event, what was bad, etc. Don't quite know how they got that Steph is the best in. I have to figure out what happened to that survey, but that's not part of the categories. Networking opportunities was awesome. Venue, location, and setup, the food, and then programming, just like how we structured it, people really seemed to enjoy. As I mentioned, some just like casual description of the 3 ways to describe Near: good vibes, open, forward thinking, agentic, interoperable, intentful. Folks were really resonating with our messaging. Next slide. How can we improve more dev-focused activations with content or workshops? So one of the things that we did get feedback, and this was in real life, but also in the survey, was that Near does a good job of bringing devs in the room, and they like the vibes. But we've, compared to last year, we've done a little bit less content and workshop things for some of our activations. So that's something that some founders and some folks just want to see again. So we're trying to think of how the next event we incorporate more of that, either workshops or content or firesides, etc. But trying to keep in mind that most of the time when we do put that on, people are still just yapping in the back. And so how do we strike that balance? And we're working on it. And then what we can improve, we did have other options besides lobster rolls, but I guess this person really was upset that they were available. But again, if you have the allergy, my 2 cents is don't eat it. They were separate enough that there would be no contamination. But overall, food was great, drinks were great, and the vibes were awesome. The venue did a really great job of helping us out through the whole process. So if we end up if permissionless takes place in Brooklyn again in the same area, we would love to go back there. Next slide. Yeah, so that wraps up permissionless things. Now we're going to segue into EthCC because we went back-to-back events. So next slide. Next slide. Similar breakdown. We're going to go through the goals, engagement, speaker highlights, the booth, because we actually had a booth at this conference, stunt boxes, some survey results, and what worked well and where we can improve. Next slide. Similar to the last event, but we just raised the stakes a little bit. We're hoping 5 branded touch points. Fork that is the rallying cry for Near. Get folks to recognize Near as the blockchain for AI. And then we added a third, since this was a more intent-focused conference, where we want people to understand what Near Intents is, why it's working, and hopefully how they can integrate it into whatever they're building. Next slide. Next slide. We had a lot of events taking place this time. Oz City, Agents Day, Agents Unleashed, the House of Stake Delegate Salon, the Intense Happy Hour, and then finally the Pantera and Unit 410 Happy Hour. Next slide. Oz City, big shout out to Shai, who I think was in France for probably 2 weeks at the by the time he left. Really held it down for the foundation. He hosted an intro to Near session. He did an intense workshop. He did a Chain 6 workshop. Also, big shout outs to Maria and team who helped with putting together bounties and helping that get going. She shared this where the final, I guess, the final numbers was 6 great results or 6 great submissions, excuse me, for the Near bounty. And from what I heard, at least from what AVB told me, I haven't fully confirmed this, but one of the winners was someone who really had, I think he was like a working mom who's never really had experience in building, but just found the tech very easy and accessible and ended up doing something really cool. I know there's pictures floating around in the chat, so I'll take a look and maybe add them at the end. But if you're curious about what the submissions look like, feel free to take a look at the in that link and then just filter by bounty. Next slide. Near Eco Kickback. Big shout outs to Conrad and team, as well as Conrad's wife, who was really an amazing host. So this was a bit impromptu, was not expected. I actually landed the day that everyone was just kind of like, hey, let's just do a kickback at Conrad's. It ended up being really fun. And I think the impromptu aspect of it actually lended itself to be more relaxed. So it was at the Market Success Villa because they actually had an offsite beforehand. It was just Near Eco and friends. And as I mentioned, this is probably one of the most recent big Near Eco and foundation photos. So big shout outs to them for putting this together last minute and just inviting us to hang out. And because that's kind of, aside from building really cool stuff, it's also building really great connections with awesome people. So thank you. Next slide. House of Stakes, big shout outs to Lane and Klaus and everyone else who participated and make sure this took place and happened and organized it. So it was held at the same hotel as at the same venue as the happy hour. It was from 9 to 5. So they were just they hit the ground running. Actually, when I showed up and shout outs to Olga as well for helping me prep the room when we showed up to just make sure everything was in order and help prepare anything like the swag and whatnot. Klaus actually rolled up with a huge piece of parchment for workshop stuff, which I haven't seen that kind of, I guess, workshop style in a while since organizing more community stuff. So it was really fun. Just from an attendee stats perspective, 25 invited, 20 showed, including folks from the foundation, both from legal and finance, to give any advice to the House of Stake delegate crew, just to make sure that the project gets off the ground and governance works. Next slide. The Near Intent Powered Happy Hour. That's a mouthful. Yeah, we held it at the same hotel from 4:30 to 7. Just some attendee stats: 960 registered, 240 accepted, 140 checked in. Really great numbers. One thing to note about ETC, there were a lot less events this year, which I think helped with getting the numbers where they are right now. Folks really seem to enjoy the view. It was beautiful, especially if you stayed longer, like right around sunset. You got that super awesome, purple orange view from the rooftop. Drinks were good, food was good, and as always, the company was the best. So thanks so much for everyone that showed up. I know that we partnered with Aurora, so big shout out to Aurora for sponsoring the event, as well as Yap Global for sponsoring the event. Aurora brought in the devs, Yap Global brought in the media. So thanks so much. Next slide. Crypto on the Coast. Big shout outs to Mark for helping put this together. Pantera and Unit 410 were our co-hosts. We had a pretty good showing. It was right on the beach. They did actually have to update that because they did it from 6:30 to 9, which was the perfect timing for those that were at ETC. It was quite hot the whole week. So 6 is finally when the sun was kind of starting to break and not slay us too much. But yeah, attendee stats: 450 registered, 200 accepted, 100 checked in. Really good vibes, really good. Mostly, I would say, institutional investor type of folks. But for the founders that were able to come in and make it, I think they made some great connections, and hopefully that leads to some raises. Next slide. Speaker highlights. We had a lot of folks speaking: Ilya, Lane, V, from across the ecosystem. So I'll just start off with one of the first speaking opportunities for Ilya was actually a debate with Justin Drake. And I actually didn't get to see it because I was running around doing other stuff. So I don't know who won, but just let's say we're a little biased and just say Ilya won. But it would look like a really good turnout. If you guys are interested in viewing the actual debate, it's available online. Just look up the name of the session and then just put ECC and it'll pop right up. V over from Proximity spoke at L2Con, and actually his shirt, which actually just says Nirvana, but people want to do a Nirvana shirt, which we're going to work on it. Marketing has heard the cries of the people, and we will try to get a Nirvana shirt for our next event. Was really popular. He did a great job with this presentation, so shout outs to V. Next slide. As I mentioned, we're really everywhere, and Lane was, there's no exception. He had a debate of his own. Again, I was running around, didn't get a chance to see it, but again, similar bias. Since he's with Near, I'm Team Near, and I hope he won. And if not, you can check it out online and see where, and give your own opinion on who won. And then he did a solo presentation called Hail to the Chief. Really clever words there, play on words there. Did a really great job for again, available online if you guys are interested in viewing it. Next slide. And as always, I try to spread the love with all speaking opportunities. Shout outs to Jay from Near AI for moderating this session at the Hack Seasons Conference. For those of you that haven't had the chance to see Jay moderate or even speak on a panel, you're missing out. Like, you really have to go because he's spicy. He does a lot of hot takes, and it kind of throws a curveball to the panelists every single time. So he did a great job, and actually the organizers were like, please, we want him back. So next event, definitely going to put him in a moderator role again if possible. Pierre actually did a solo of his own at the Encryption Day event. He did a really great job. He actually showed AVB and myself the presentation beforehand just to kind of get some feedback. And I just want to say that big shout outs for Pierre. When I started placing him in speaking opportunities, he's really grown on his own. So really, really proud to see that he's just continues to excel and growing in that aspect of becoming more assured during his presentations. Next slide. ETC. Ilya had a solo I was actually able to attend that one. So how blockchains can make AI user owned. Really amazing presentation, was pretty well attended. He had one or two questions, I think, post presentation. And I think he did a great job answering them, although I think he was a little bit cut off towards the end, but those are the organizers, can't do anything about that. But shout out to Ilya for getting that done. We actually had a second opportunity at the Hack Seasons Conference. Lane was a panelist for building AI that lets the chain think for itself. I think that's I'm not gonna lie, Lane, that's a little bit scary, but we'll see where it ends up. I haven't had a chance to review the content for that one, but I'll take a look post this event. Next slide. And I wasn't able to find a picture for this one, but Lane actually participated in this game theory, aligning a sentence for success panel. It was a little bit last minute, but I'm sure he did a great job, and I'll actually get a more in-depth view once I view the footage. And then Ilya also participated in the fireside chat at ETH Pragma. We'd have a better picture, but unfortunately there was a fire drill like right towards the end. So I think this is the best picture we got from Erica. So big shout outs for taking it. And then, yeah, I think he gave too much alpha and the roof caught on fire. I'm not quite sure, but it is what it is. But thank you for those that participated. Next slide. And then the booth, next slide. We had a fun time at the booth. We haven't had a booth experience in a little bit, but we came back really strong for ETCC. Big shout outs to Jay. This man can sell water to a well. He really helped us move the swag, that was part of the goal, like getting people to sign up via the QR code, but also getting people to be excited about our swag and talking about Near and Near Intense. Did a really great job. Ilya, actually, the man, myth, legend himself, showed up to the booth and showed some support and love. Nice picture there with Esther, Davin, and AVB. And then big shout outs to Aurora for helping support the booth. Nick, Avinash, and Armin came and showed love and also helped us just staff the booth when some folks had to have speaking opportunities or myself was running around doing other things. So thank you so much for the support. Next slide. Next slide. Stunt boxes. So as we mentioned, we gave some of them out during dinner at Permissionless, but we brought some to France. And we gave a few boxes to Samantha from Gap Global, who gave them to journalists. And so we actually were able to put one in the hands of McKinsey, who is, I guess, finance/crypto journalist over at MSNBC, a friend of the family, hopefully at this point. And she really loved the box, loved the happy hour, loved the views. So big shout outs to Samantha for helping distribute those to the journalists that attended. And then Erica and Ilya, big shout outs to both of you for handing out the rest of the boxes during some of the dinners and private invitations you guys had. As you can see, they handed one to Sandeep and he really, really loved it, tweeted about it, really resonated with the messaging, and then was playing with the tech, which is the whole point. So these boxes have been well received and the momentum continues. So we're really proud of that fact. Next slide, please. Next slide. Survey results. Pretty good participation. We had 17 this time around, and pretty mixed, I would say, from attendee to partners to media, hackers, staff, etc. Pretty overall good score. I think pretty happy. There's always room for improvement, so that's where we're going to segue to the next slide. So again, networking opportunity was great, venue was great, food and beverage was great. And then from the 3 words, it was just kind of like subtle, relevant focus. Vibes were smart, the sun. People really love that view. And there was AC at our event, which not all events had. It was definitely a miss. And then just the great and relevant activation. I think we timed it well. We picked a good location, and people really enjoyed the fact that we were considerate that it's really quite hot in the French Riviera at that time of the year. Next slide. Next slide. One of some of the feedback was a bigger venue. And while we would love to host a bigger venue, it's also trying to be mindful that we are trying to curate a specific experience. And so while we can get a venue that fits 200 people, but then it's like, are you going to be able to chat with 200 people? Are you going to be able to actually connect? Probably not. So we're trying to keep it intimate. So while we do take all feedback seriously, we are trying to keep in mind of the vibe that we're going for. I will say closer to the main venue, it wasn't that far. It's about a 12-15 minute walk, but I get that in the heat, it probably felt a lot further. But there's trade-offs. The venues closer to the main venue didn't have as nice views. So we'll take that into account and consider it if we end up going to ETC next year, because it will once again be in the French Riviera, but just keep that in mind. There will be trade-offs if we go one way or another. What can we improve? Some folks thought the food was too light and only one bathroom, and as someone wrote, mucho calor. 2 of those things I cannot control. 1 I can. So for the food too light, we will take that into mind and try to maybe give more portions or a heavier type of cuisine, so that while you're drinking, you're not too intoxicated. Next slide. That's actually it. Well, thanks everyone. That's the wrap up for both permissionless and ECC and how it all tied in to the Fork That campaign. Appreciate your time. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And great to see all these great activations all over the world. I was lucky enough to attend ECC, and I really enjoyed the vibes and everything Nia had going on. Keep up the good work, Nia Marketing. This is what it's going to take us to the next level. Next up, we got Thomas from OmniLane. Thomas.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm very good. What about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You feel free to share your screen.
Yeah, for sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Tomás Macitello. I'm based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So while I was listening to Stephanie, I was thinking, when are you going to do a near event here in Buenos Aires, Stephanie? We should talk. Today, I am the product leader of OmniLane, and I want to talk about some stuff about OmniLane, okay? So the agenda is short. First of all, talk a little bit about what's OmniLane, then our current status, then our main learnings the last months, our role in the NEAR ecosystem, what we need from the community of NEAR, and last but not least, a quick demo of how OmniLane works, okay? So in a nutshell, what's OmniLane? OmniLane is a swap that is built using NEAR intents and multi-signatures infrastructure. We do atomic swaps in a fast and secure way. We can do cross-chain swaps between lots of blockchains and tokens. And for example, with OmniLane, in quick steps, you can do, for example, exchange of NEAR in NEAR blockchain for USDT in base blockchain, or maybe you can do even USDT from base to Bitcoin just in a couple of clicks. That's the main idea of OmniLane, and it's quite similar to NEAR Intents, but we want to make the user experience even better. Okay, what's the current status right now of OmniLane? And here I want to be open and very honest to everybody. We have heard some bad comments about OmniLane because our community building and our go-to-market plan has not been how we planned it. So I want to talk to you with being the most open possible and tell you what's about OmniLane right now. Okay. What's good about OmniLane is that we launched our product some months ago. The product has always been online. It was never turned off, and we have done several swaps. What's been wrong? The things that I told you before. We created a go-to-market plan. It doesn't go the way we planned, so we're fixing it. That's why I am here, putting my face in front of all of you, because we want OmniLane to be alive, and we want to continue working, building our community. Okay. What are the key learnings we have the past months? Besides what I talked to you, that community building is not optional and actually it is critical, we also be learning about our user experience and how we can improve it. So that's why in this moment, for everyone that want to use OmniLane, I invite you to go to our page and try to do a swap. It is actually easy. However, we know that there are some swaps that are more validated, that its user experience is easier, and we want to reach that, you know. That's why right now we are doing some feedback chats, feedback calls with OmniLane users, just to understand what are the best things about OmniLane, what are the blockers that they find in OmniLane, and how we can improve this kind of stuff just to make our product better, you know. Then I want to talk a little bit about what is the role in OmniLane in your ecosystem and why I think it is important. Okay, everyone here know that new ecosystem is a blockchain that is growing a lot, and its DeFi ecosystem is expanding faster. You know, with technologies as near intents and multi-party signatures being like the main technologies developed in these DeFi ecosystems, OmniLane is a perfect use case of how you can create, for example, a native dApp of NEAR, use this type of infrastructure as near intents or multi-party signatures, and create a dApp that is useful, that can create different go-to-market plans or strategies to make community and make grow this ecosystem. Last but not least, before our demo, I want to talk to you what we are searching for. We want people to go to our dApp, to try our dApp, to make a swap, to do whatever kind of swap they wanted to do, and give us raw and honest feedback, okay? Why? Because how I told you some minutes ago, we are trying to make OmniLane better. We want to make its user experience better, and we want people to try it and to say to us, hey, I like this, or mate, this is a shit, for example, because that's how these kind of products grow because of its community. Okay, here you can see some links to our socials, OmniLane Labs in X, Omnilane in Telegram and Omnilane.x, y, and z in our landing. Okay. Now I will go to our landing page and I will try to do a swap in just a couple of clicks so you can see it. Here you can connect either your Near wallet or your EVM wallet. In this case, I'm going to connect my Meteor wallet. Okay. Here you can see that I have, I think, like 5 Near. Yeah, I have 5 Near, almost 6. I want to change 1 Near in my Near blockchain and send it and swap it from a USDC in base blockchain to my MetaMask wallet. Okay. So first of all, I will put 1 here. Then I will go to my MetaMask wallet. Give me a second. Also here you can see all the tokens that we have available. In this case, I want to swap it for USDC. Here you can see that we have different chains: Ethereum, Arbitrum, Base, Gnosis, Solana, etc. I want to change it for USDC in Base. Here it says the amount I will receive. And here in my MetaMask wallet, this is a test account that I just created, and I have nothing here. I will copy my address, I will paste it here, and I will swap it. Okay. First, the app is going to ask me to deposit my tokens. I will deposit them. I will approve it. The transaction is executing right now. Then I will confirm the swap. I will sign the message. And just in a couple of seconds, the intent will be approved. Now the intent is set. Now I can go to my MetaMask wallet. Just in maybe 15-20 seconds, my USDC are going to appear here. Or if not, let me go to a base scan. Now you can see that my USDC appear. I have 2.5 USDC, and here you can see too in the base scan. I have a 2.39 USDC, and that's all. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Nirwik.
Thank you so much for coming, Thomas. And just quickly want to say, everyone, check out the What Did You Ship This Week stream. It's going live in 1 hour. It's where Cameron from Near AI will take you through everything that's being shipped on AI-wise in the new ecosystem. It's a weekly show, and I want to give a huge shout out to all the teams that are building and to Cameron for highlighting all the good AI stuff. It's 8 p.m. CET. Make sure to tune in on the Near Protocol official X account. And lastly, want to say apologize for this call taking so long today. We had so many things on the agenda. Near is where users own AI agents coordinate, and the agentic internet scales. This community is grinding, building, and showing the world what's possible. So shout out to every developer, founder, and community contributor pushing the vision forward. Near isn't just a protocol, it's a movement for truly open, user-owned AI. It's the future that we decide to build ourselves, and we are all agreeing on to fork that. As always, what has been presented on this town hall is not financial advice. Do your own research, use your own judgment. But if you're paying attention, you know where the signal is. Subscribe to Nearweek to stay in the loop. And if you're building something amazing, this stage is yours. Do not hesitate to hit us up. See you next month. Keep building, stay AI, and remember, the future of AI runs on Near. See you.
Thanks for watching. Truly open AI is Near. Follow Near Protocol. Subscribe to Nearweek.